Dr. Alan Newmark has practiced as a podiatrist in Brooklyn, New York for over 3 decades.
I received a phone call that I should go do a house call for Mr. Schneerson. And I said, okay. Took the address, it was on President Street. I went there, a gentleman let me in, I think it was Rabbi Gansberg. The elderly woman came out and said hello. I said hello. She said, I'm Mr. Schneerson. I said, hi, I'm Dr. Newmark. I sat down, took medical history like I always do, treated her, and she gave me tea and cake. And I drank the tea, took the cake, and I left. But 2 months later, I was called to go again. So I remember when I went to see Mr. Schneerson, I said to her, I remember saying to her, Mr. Schneerson, I have to tell you, I apologize. If I knew you were such a big shot, I would have worn a yarmulke, but I didn't know who you were. I don't usually wear it. So she goes, it's okay, it's okay. You wear a yarmulke for you, not for me. I said, okay, thank you, someday maybe. After a while, we became pretty good friends, I felt, because she started to ask me questions, and one said, can I ask you a question? I said, fine, and she said, doctor, you married? And I said, no. She goes, you go out and date? I said, yeah. She goes, you date nice people? I said, yeah. She goes, nice Jewish girls? I said, no, I can't stand them. So I thought her eyeballs would pop out. She kind of like smiled back and said, okay, I see. Maybe someday you should get married, but take your time. I said, okay. She goes, but promise me you'll marry a nice Jewish girl. So I looked at her and said, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And she said, not to worry, all will be well, all will be well. And from what people tell me, that must have been my first bracha that maybe she gave me, as to what the future might hold for me. I met a lot of different women, but they were definitely not what I considered good marriage material, so I was very frustrated. So in January of 1999, I said to myself, this is insanity. I have to talk to my friend who used to promise to help me if I needed help. So I went out to the Ohel, stood in front of her, and I said, Mr. Schneerson, nothing for nothing, I need to get married. I want to finally settle down. And so it took a while. Not everybody gets married at 44. And 2 months later, I was blessed to meet my wife. So I smiled and looked up and said to Mrs. Schneerson, I thank you again. We're blessed to have 4 children, 4 great children, and for some amazing reason, I sat down with her once and I said to her, Mr. Schneerson, I found out that you never had children. I feel terrible. I said, you're a very warm person, a very good person. You would have been an excellent mother. I feel terrible that you weren't blessed to have a family. So at first she kind of just looked at me, a little surprised, I think. But then understanding how I felt and that I meant well, that she looked at me and said, everybody here is my children.